The growing debate over whether this economy requires another federal stimulus package is underway. The original $787 billion package has barely been spent, only a fraction of it. And the administration and Congress, many in those two say another round may be needed, and it's only been 4 months. We're joined now by Ellen Sinai, Chief Global Economist, President of Decision Economics, the Governor of the state of Pennsylvania. Ed Rendell, a Democrat. Good to have you with us, Governor. Congressman Bilbray, Republican of California. And Congresswoman Loretta Sanchez is a Democrat from California. She is now on the floor voting and will join us here in just a moment. I want to say thank you for all of you for being here. Let's start out with the stimulus package. Less than 10% of this package has been spent, yet we're hearing cries and calls for a second stimulus package. Let me ask you, if I may, Governor Rendell, what your reaction is. Do you need it? Do you think it makes sense to call for it now?
Oh, it's really premature, Lou. I believe the president is right saying it can't be off the table, but it's far too early to tell whether we need it. In Pennsylvania, we have spent literally $1 billion of the $16 billion that we're going to get under the stimulus program. Although we've contracted out over 65% of our road and highway projects, work has begun on about 50% of them, but it's just begun in the last couple of weeks. Remember, it's less than 4 months since the Pennsylvania Transportation Plan was approved. That's an incredibly fast time to get to work beginning. So let's see how it does. Let's see the impact it has.
Congressman Bilbray.
Well, Lou, any bill put together in the dark of night, you're asked to vote for it within a matter of hours without anybody reading it, is fraught with problems. And right now it looks like the price tag is very high. In fact, the projection of the reduction in unemployment or the control of unemployment is about 85%, 85 degrees off. They figured it would flatten out and it's continued to climb. I think that we just got to understand that we need to be more smart in government, quit trying to throw money at every problem and start talking about substantive reforms rather than always asking the taxpayers to foot the bill.
Have you got a date certain, Congressman, as to when we're going to see a smarter Congress?
Well, it's about time when the voters start, they said they wanted a smarter Congress last election. Right. No one promised that the change that they were talking about was only going to be change left in people's pockets after the federal government spent all the money.
I didn't mean in any way to set you up for that expression, that partisan expression, Congressman. Let's go to, if we may, before I ask you the question, Ellen Sinai, Warren Buffett, quoted on ABC's Good Morning America. This is what he had to say about the first stimulus bill.
Our first stimulus bill, it seems to me, it was sort of like taking half a tablet of Viagra, and then having also a bunch of candy mixed in, as everybody was putting in things for their own constituencies. And it doesn't have really quite the wallop that might have been anticipated.
Well, Alan, you're quoted in the Wall Street Journal as saying lags monetary fiscal policy should be allowed to work through the system. Now you have the likes of Warren Buffett, Nobel Prize-winning economist, and Times columnist Paul Krugman saying, bring it on, another round. What do you think?
We got to let this one work its way out. It's hardly begun. The tax cuts started April 1. People are saving the money. That's probably healthy long run. And the spending or the outlay part of the stimulus, it just takes time to get it going. I think if we need a time, and if by the beginning of the fourth quarter, we're not seeing much in the way of results, then we ought to we can talk now about what might be necessary in another stimulus package, but it's too early to call this one out.
It appears that you're all, from your various perspectives, in agreement on that issue, yet there is a drumbeat that is obviously building in Washington, D.C. Unique in all of this is the claims that people did not know how bad the recession was back in February, did not know the extent of it, yet we're talking about the largest stimulus package in American history. We are looking at a great deal of fear right now that remains on Wall Street. High unemployment, 9.5% by some standards, including discouraged workers, detached workers from the workplace, 16.5% unemployment, a loss of some $12 trillion in this economy. Where do we stand, Governor Rendell, in Pennsylvania? Do you sense recovery beginning to take hold?
Well, we have 8.2% unemployment, significantly better than the national average, far too high. Yes, I see for the first time, I'm seeing business expansion. Some of our businesses starting to grow again, coming to us for money to help them expand. I've seen new business startup, particularly in renewable energy, Lou. But I want to make a point to follow up what our economist said.
Yeah, quickly.
If we do have another stimulus, it ought to be 100% hard infrastructure, which we know produces jobs and orders for American factories.
As Warren Buffett would put it, all Viagra and no candy. Is that
absolutely
a fair way to put it? We have just been joined by Congresswoman Loretta Sanchez, Democrat of California. Great to have you with us.
Thank you, Lou.
If I may ask you, what is your sense? Is recovery beginning to take hold? Or do you, in California, the people you represent, in desperate need of as much stimulus as possible?
Well, we have seen some of it come down. Actually, about 20% of the stimulus dollars have already come in Orange County, where we have the largest floodplain. For example, west of the Mississippi, we've seen $24 million already obligated to the project of making sure that 80% of the people who live in Orange County will be taken care of. We're working on that flood issue with the river. So we're seeing real money come down. We've got some burn grants for law enforcement.
Are you seeing real improvement in the economy? Do you get the sense that there is economic recovery taking hold in Orange County?
Lou, remember that Orange County was the seat of 4 of the 6 subprime lenders' headquarters.
Right.
We are based in construction of new home construction. That's one of our big industries. So it's been very, very difficult for Orange County. But what I see happening, and what Chapman University, who does the econometric model for Orange County, has said, is that this will be a plateau year. We're sort of trying to find the bottom in housing and the economy, and maybe
right
by
now,
the end of the year we'll see better stats.
Congresswoman, a plateau in many parts of the country feels like real progress. Let me turn, Congressman Bilbray, in your part of California, what does it feel like?
Lou, look, just like the governor said, instead of putting the money into transportation issues where you know how you're going to pay for it with users' fees in the future, less than 3.8% of the so-called stimulus bill was going into those infrastructures that the governor was talking about. Most of this was done with exactly what Washington usually does. It turns it into a welfare program.
In San Diego, your district, does it, I know we're out of time, yes or no, does it feel like recovery?
No, we don't see major recovery, but the fact is we're seeing struggles back and forth. You know what's going on in San Diego.
Alan Sinai, give us your best judgment. Recovery this year?
Yeah, statistically. That's not, I don't mean functionally. It's going to be bad, terrible jobs market, and Washington will eventually, I think, do more stimulus because they won't be able to stand the high unemployment rate. But the statistical recovery, yeah, by late this year. That means real GDP will grow positively, but not very much at all.
Something of a jobless recovery, unfortunately. All right, thank you very much. Governor, and I want to thank each of you, but Governor Rendell, before I let you go, the story we reported here tonight on those young people, Hispanic and African American, who were denied access to the pool there in Huntington Valley at the Valley Club, Swimming Club. Your thoughts very quickly, if we can.
Well, it was even worse. They were actually thrown out. They were originally contracted for the camp to come in, and then something happened and they were exited. The State Human Relations Commission has started an investigation. No one is allowed to discriminate in Pennsylvania. We're going to get to the bottom of it.
Yeah, it just, as a young man in our report said to our Susan Candiotti, in 2009, who would have dreamed such actions were even possible? Thank you very much, Governor. Congressman, we thank you very much for being with us.